RHD, James here with you. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here on Life FM. It's a real pleasure to be with you. James Meston is my name, and I'm very thrilled to join again in such a short space of time, which is really great to have you back so soon. The wonderful Alkira Prior, who you know so well from other RHD shows, from Navigating North, from all the stuff done at Compass. Welcome, Alkira. Great to have you back.
Thank you. I ended the year at RHD and I'm starting the year at RHD.
Look at that. Good as a bought one.
Oh, yeah.
And you're here today because when you were on the very last show, you were about to go and be a huge part of the Wonderfull, as in full of wonder, as we've talked about, Christmas Festival as part of your church.
Yep.
And it's happened. It's been an enormous success.
Oh, yeah.
And so we are going to be talking all about that. And when we were having a bit of a chat previously, like as we were getting set up for today, and we were talking a bit about, where should we sort of take the conversation? Because we talked all about your backstory, all of your faith journey, all of your history and all of that stuff when we were doing it before. So we started getting onto this idea of our role as people within the church, what it is that we are kind of called to do and the way in which we're called to do it. And it was really interesting. Like, I think we both kind of found some real common points within there as well. And in some ways they do depart a bit from the conventional wisdom of what a lot of people say. So it'd be really great to touch on that. We've also got music as well from Anike, Sigrid, Pinal, Coldplay, and heaps more. But right now, this is brand new from Galantis. You are listening to RHD on Life FM. That was Galantis, brand new from them. You are listening to RHD on Life FM. James Meston here with you. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. My very special guest this evening is Alkira Prior, formerly of Compass Catholic College, but now part of everything else. The Navigating North podcast of life. The citizen of the world out there, for sure. Now, the Wonderfull Christmas Festival happened just in the lead up to Christmas last year. You were running all of the stuff to do with the youth component, the young adult component.
Most of. I don't get all the credit.
You don't get all the credit. So it's all a team. It's all teamwork at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Can you talk us a little bit through actually kind of, getting set up for the day, the lead up to the day and all of that stuff, so we can kind of get a bit of sense of what it was like for those of us who weren't there, what it was like to actually be there.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I wanted to emphasize that it wasn't all me is because I actually had to work my job during the day for the setup. I was lucky enough to be there in the morning to sort of, be able to touch base with everyone who would be helping setting up during the day. But yeah, they were really the ones that got everything, all of the equipment and everything outside. So that was glorious. We started setting up at 8:30 in the morning, had some coffee, some breakfast. We spent some time in prayer and then really got stuck into it.
So can you paint the scene, like where this is like a big oval or something? Is that what it is?
No. So it happened on church grounds.
Oh, okay.
Actually. Yeah,
okay.
We're blessed with such an amazing property to be on. Yeah, so we've got the big church building, and then a lot of grass area. We've got a nice little community garden, and then
sounds really lovely.
Yeah, and then a gorgeous car park as well. So yeah,
gorgeous car park.
Gorgeous car park. Well.
As gorgeous as a car park can be, okay? Shall we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so we met at the church in the morning. All of the volunteers spent the day setting up. And then, I joined back just before the festival started. And
so it must have really transformed in that time, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was actually wild. When I left to go to work, there were like a couple gazebos set up and that was pretty much it. When I went back, there were already people there.
Oh, right.
Enjoying the festival.
So talk to me a bit about what it was. So what was the first thing you saw when you came back in? Because I imagine it was enormous. The way that you've described it, it's this huge event for the whole community. So what were the things that you kind of noticed where you went, oh, wow, look at that. That's amazing.
Well, the first thing I noticed was big orange cones that stopped me from parking with all of the other volunteers.
Nice.
But the second thing I noticed was the kids zone that we had, because that takes up like the middle section of our car park. obviously no cars were traveling into the car park. The kids were all safe.
You'd hope so.
But yeah, they had like mini putt-putt. They had a basketball hoop.
Yeah,
like
wild.
so many fun things. I would have loved to be in the kids zone.
Yeah.
That would have been a blast. But yeah, just like all of the volunteers that were there, it was mind-blowing. And we had community stalls of like small businesses that were selling their stuff in the main area too, which was amazing. And then obviously the glorious stage that we had. It was absolutely incredible to see. Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear more actually about what happened during the course of the festival, and also like how many people came. You told me it blew expectations out of the water, so that's really, really amazing. Also got music from Taya, Katy Perry, Heather Fran, and heaps more. But right now, this is, love this one, this is new from Anike. This is Have Fun, that's the song. You are listening to HD on Life FM. Love that song. That is It Gets Dark by Sigrid. You are listening to HD on Life FM. James here with you. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Alkira Prior is my very special guest here on the show. We've just been talking about getting set up for the Wonderfull Christmas Festival, which you were involved in the youth zone last year. Now, so you're all set up. People have already started to arrive. It's the excitement's already building. People are doing stuff, shooting basketball. The stage is all set up. They're ready to go. The mini putt-putt golf's in full swing. So as the sort of the from that point, as the sort of evening progresses, tell us a little bit more about what happened then.
Sure. So I pretty much made a beeline for the youth zone, and yeah, just checking in on everything, making sure we had all of the equipment set up, all of the balls we needed for all the fun games that we had. And yeah, pretty much we, as the young adults, we were the main group of volunteers for the youth zone. We just started having fun and playing those games in hopes that those first few youth that came through were just meeting people as soon as they came in and they weren't intimidated by all of this empty space and people randomly standing around. Yeah. So yeah, we were just having fun the whole time. That's how we started.
And as the sort of the night progressed, what did you kind of like notice? What were the things that were happening? Was there like, did people just keep building and building? Was there just a lot of people arriving?
Look, a lot of my expectations were shifted so much during the night. I thought that the chill zone that we had would be super popular, for people to just sit down and honestly probably go on their phones. I thought that's what young people would gravitate towards, and I thought that we wouldn't get much engagement at all in a game called Gaga Ball.
Right.
But that's where
What is Gaga Ball?
So Gaga Ball's where you've got like this huge circle, like enclosure, and you hit a ball on the ground with the hopes of hitting someone in their legs, and then they're out, right? Obviously, you can dodge it and stuff, and you're not allowed to touch the ball until it's hit the wall, and then it just keeps going around and you just keep whacking the ball, hoping to get people out by hitting their legs. But yeah, so many of the people I spoke to had never heard of that before.
Right. I've never heard of that before.
It is a staple at Playford Uniting Church.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where the kids were the whole night. Every time we were like, oh, did you guys want to come do the 9 square tournament? Nah, one more round. And then one more round,
Yeah.
So yeah, that sort of blew my mind a little bit. And it was also great because we had a lot of the kids, like little kids like under 12 years old, engaging in our arts and crafts space as well.
They really went for it.
Yeah. It was actually so heartwarming because then, the intergenerational group we had in the youth zone was so amazing to see. It really was.
So for you, like over the course of the whole event, like how many people did you end up getting along? What was the count?
I don't have a solid number in my knowledge base, but I know that we did surpass last year's numbers, which was around the 1,200, 1,500 ballpark.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got to be thrilled with that.
It's actually so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah.
For you, what was the highlight moment of the whole thing?
My highlight moment was the fireworks at the end.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was a really serene moment for me because the whole night I was just like running around like a headless chook,
Because you never usually say that fireworks are a serene moment, but in comparison to what you were doing, probably so.
Yeah. So by the end of the night, when we were just standing there watching the fireworks, I was just reminded about the presence of God. I was just able to take a moment just in prayer, just admiring, the fireworks and just the community that were around us. A few tears were shed, I'll be honest.
Really?
But yeah,
Why?
I'm an emotional gal, James.
Yeah.
I am. I was so grateful that I was able to be involved in the festival. And I was so grateful for all of the support I had around me in overseeing the youth zone. I was just feeling it.
Wow. Sounds like an amazing, amazing time. We got lots more coming up, including music from Katy Perry, Heather Fran, and Andre De Silva. But right now, this is brand new from Pinyao and Coldplay. You are listening to HD on Life FM. That's Pinyao and Coldplay. You are listening to HD on Life FM. My name is James Meston. It's my pleasure to be here with you this evening on the radio, on the podcast, however you are listening or even watching it, because we're now into the world of video podcasting. It's a very exciting time. My very special guest today for show number 600, yes, I know that's huge, is the wonderful Alkira Prior, no stranger to HD, and shows that we've had in the past as well. It's great to have her here today. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of when we were talking before about getting young people along, and you also did some recording of Felicity, who was the person, she's the wife of the pastor, heavily involved in the church up there. Yeah. And it was you two kind of together working on all this stuff and making all this stuff happen. We were talking a little bit about, you did some recording with her, and we're talking about the importance of, even though we are motivated and driven by the gospel and our faith, in order to reach out to young people and other people in the community and give them the most amazing experiences that we can, that doesn't necessarily need to involve leading with like an evangelical bend on it. It's not like saying you can only come along to this thing if you do understand and fully endorse the kind of the thing that's driving us. Yeah. It's so important that you can experience these the love and the dedication and the faith that we feel, even without really understanding where it comes from initially. Yeah. We were talking a bit about that. What are your thoughts on that idea?
Yeah, I think it is really important, because, that concept of being so strong and harsh with concepts of the Bible, being the first approach, it did cause a lot of negative stereotypes, placed upon Christians. And I think the beautiful era that we're in now as Christians is we are really encapsulating that reflect Jesus mindset. Yeah. In that, we're embodying Christian values and we're walking the talk that we have, Because you were also saying, like, there's so many young people involved in your church. Yeah.
And why you believe that has got probably a lot more to do with the sort of like the vibe and the message and the atmosphere that you guys are kind of putting out there into the world, and people looking at that and going, I actually want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that community. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, negative stereotypes, a huge stereotype of Christian people is that, we're so confined in what we do and we restrict ourselves from so many things that, atheist or agnostic people deem as, fun, whether that be indulging in alcohol or, anything like that. And so many people see, Christian life, or think Christian life is boring, that you just sit down and sew or something. But yeah, one of the beautiful things about Playford Uniting Church, and something that a lot of people have noticed, is we make it look fun.
Yeah.
Because it is. We have so much fun in our faith. And it's a beautiful thing that I want to keep encouraging young people to do, and even older people to do, because it is so important to remember that we're here to have fun. We're here to experience the joy of the Lord, you know?
Absolutely. We got lots more coming up, including music from Heather Fran and Andre De Silva. But right now, I love this one. This is brand new from Taya. You are listening to Arch D on Life FM. That is Katy Perry. You are listening to Arch D on Life FM. James here with you this evening. Hope you're having a fantastic time. My very special guest today is the wonderful Alkira Prior, fresh from the work that she's been doing on the Wonderfull, as in full of wonder, Christmas Festival as part of the Playford Uniting Church out where she is and is such a big part of that community up there. Now, this is the point in the show where we would be talking about the gospel of the week that is read in Catholic churches. And it just so happens it plays perfectly into everything that we've been talking about. It's from Luke 1 and Luke 4, and it's all about Jesus really going out into the synagogues, into the community, talking, preaching, and speaking about the Word of God and really animating it for people so that they can really understand. And although a moment ago we were just talking about how it's really important that when we actually go out in the community and we really express a desire to really, like you say, to have fun, to enjoy, to really celebrate and be joyous within God's kingdom, Jesus' kingdom, it's still really important to go out and speak about the Word of God at the same time. What part does that play in your life, actually going out and speaking and basically preaching the Word?
Yeah. So I think it is... I feel like it's going to come into my life even more as I start a new job supporting people with their mental health. But yeah, I think it's just because I grew up atheist and I was never exposed to what Christian values actually are and what Christianity actually is. If somebody was super generous and super kind, it was just because they were generous and kind.
Yeah, right.
I would have never thought, oh, they must be doing that because, you know, they believe in something higher than them, that they know that we are all deserving of love. Like, that was never part of it. So I think that's why, you know, I am a big believer of, you know, obviously embodying Christian values and embodying the generosity and kindness and all the fruits of the Spirit, but also, you know, even just gently explaining, oh, hey, I'm really, really glad that I met you. And I just need to tell you, like, I'm so glad that God loves you. Like, isn't that so great? So I think
you're going to be hard. It's hard though sometimes having their conversations with people, isn't it? Because sometimes they'll go, oh, okay, that's a bit full on if they're not really ready to hear that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I am a big thing moving forward is I am going to work on finding a way to explain that stuff super gently in a society where it's not received very well most of the time. Yeah. But I think that'll be an exciting journey to go on because we are, you know, in unprecedented times where, you know, Christian people, it's sort of like a round circle moment where in the beginning we weren't appreciated so much, and I feel like it's kind of coming full circle now. But it's also a beautiful time to really let people know what we're all about.
I also find it's really exciting to find kind of really creative ways to express that as well, and to see people's response in that because like something that I started doing this year with the Arch D podcasting courses that we run in schools is that in the very first session, what I've started doing is going, okay, so why do you think people do podcasting in the first place? And people talk about all the different reasons. And what I've sort of done is I've gone, okay, so let's just say the reason that people do podcasting is because they want to express their own voice and put it out there. They want to talk about the things that they're really passionate about. They want to work in collaboration with other people. They want to, and sort of list a whole bunch of different things and sort of very carefully go, okay, like exactly what they are. And really, when you look at all of those things, they're all positive and all play really into Catholic social teaching principles and things like that, and say, well, because we do all of those things, this is an initiative from Catholic Education South Australia. why is it that you think that Catholic Education South Australia is the one that is so interested in podcasting? And I put the list back on the board and say, so which one of these things do you think is the really Catholic thing? Which one do you think it is? And of course, the kids will put up their hand and go, oh, I think it's all about showing awe and wonder, or I think it's really about working in community with other people. Or I really think it's about finding your voice. Or I really do think it's about talking about issues that really matter to the wider community. And then, of course, there'll always be some smart kid that goes, it's all of them. And you go, yes, it is. And they see it on the board. And you see this moment of going, oh, it's not just about genuflecting and prayer and singing praise and worship songs. It's actually about the way we live and the way that we are in the world. And even in these things that we're so passionate about doing, we see faith coming through in all of it.
Well, crazy concept that I'm very new to, worship. So many people think worship is just when you're praising the Lord through song. Worship is also serving others.
Yeah.
Worship is also being generous with material things, with time, with effort. Worship is so much more than just singing. And that's another really important thing to note about Christians because, you know.
That's it. Even when you're saying to people, even if you're loving one another and say love, if we say that God is love and if God is the love that exists between us, then in every moment of love, God is there.
Yeah.
I think that's really awesome.
You know that saying, faith without works is dead?
I do know that phrase.
Let me add to that. Works without love are dead.
Oh, very good. Very, very poignant. I love that. We got lots more coming up, including music from Andre Da Silva. But right now, this is, absolutely love this one, from local artist Heather Fran. This is And I Will. You are listening to ArchD on Life FM. That's Heather Fran. You are listening to ArchD on Life FM. James here with you this evening. My very special guest has been the wonderful Alkira Prior for this past hour. It's been an hour, by the way.
No.
It has been. It has been. Thank you so much for coming on and being a very special guest here for the show. It's been great. Lovely to catch up about everything that happened at the festival. And please come back more. Like, it's so much fun having you on the show.
Hey, man, if life allows, God willing, I'm here.
Okay.
Every day. Expect me.
Okay, then.
8 a.m.
Absolutely. Okay, that's good. I might have to get in a bit early. That's all right. I'll get an extra cup of coffee on my way. Thank you so much for coming in. If you've only just joined us on the radio, you can check this whole thing out via a whole bunch of different means, whether or not it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, ArchD Radio. Now, of course, video podcast on YouTube. We'll put a link on all our social media about that so you can jump on and see it all. We are here every Wednesday night from 9, every Saturday night from 10. Stay tuned to Life FM for more of your music, and we will see you in a few days. See you, Alkira.
Bye.